Show everybody. We're live, so I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows that we're live. I'm gonna share it on these platforms so people know what we're doing.
And share it on mine. I'm gonna see if I can get this one going, and so I can share it. I got some people I can tell to share. I just gotta reach out to them.
Okay, I got you. We're about to do it right now. We're about to do it right now. Let me see. I'm gonna tag you in it. So I can share it right now. We're about to do it right now. Let me see. I'm gonna tag you in it. So I can share it right now. I'm about to do it right now. Let me see. Trying to tag in it. It's pulling up everybody but you on the tag.
But my Facebook was doing the same thing with people. It would pull up everything but their personal page.
It's weird. All right, hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna turn my stuff off. I'm gonna just save it. It's weird. I don't know why it's doing it like that. Share options. Okay, bet. So I'm gonna copy the link and then I'm gonna share it to my main one, and then on my main page we can see that. Should be over there. There we go. I got you.
Okie dokie.
Okay, no problem. So it's gonna come through. So
I see it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up my laptop. That's right. I pull up there. I ain't no tell. I'm gonna disappear in this joke if I do it on my phone.
Hey, no worries. No worries.
And I think there's a little delay on my end, so I may seem like I'm lagging behind you a little bit when I speak.
Oh, it's okay. I'll give you space and everything like that. So that way, I'll give it some time to breathe for a little bit. So that way we're not talking over each other and stuff like that. It's no worries. It's no worries. Let's see. Yeah, let me just blast it out real quick.
I want to commend you too. If you can send it to my Instagram too, that'll be good. But
I got you. Let me see.
I want to commend you too, man. Like you definitely been doing your thing, grinding, man. And I like to watch people and see people come up and grow. And it's people don't understand that knowledge, understanding of success is really what it's about, man. And I've been watching you. I just want to commend you on that, bro. Like you're really doing your thing.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. And like, what's crazy is I've been watching you, like, you know what I'm saying? And I've been tweaking my stuff and everything just based upon like some of the professionals and some of the people that I look up to. It was like, okay, like, yo, I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself this way. I want to make sure that I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm handling my business a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I'm carrying myself in a manner to where, yes, I'm still being true to myself, but also I'm still respecting everybody in all different walks of lives, you know? So I definitely appreciate that. But I definitely want to give you your flowers too, because you're somebody that inspired. You're definitely somebody that inspires me. So like, you know what I'm saying? The work that you're doing is creating somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely, that's why I was just happy that you asked to, do the show with me, just because like, yeah, I definitely value your opinion, especially on things like this, like a black man in media that's being as successful as you are. That's something that like needs to be it needs to be highlighted, but it needs to be celebrated as well. But then also we need to learn game from it. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got to pick up game because you got game to give. You know, there are a whole bunch of like, you know what I'm saying, young black men that are just trying to figure it out, like how to start or what they should do. Some people, like, yeah, I remember when you told me, because I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't have I don't have the equipment that I need in order to succeed, in order to really be in this media game. And he was telling me like, yo,
Mhm.
they shooting movies off of iPhones, right? So you know what I'm saying, you automatically you know what I'm saying? So you removed the barrier in my mind that was there, because in my mind I'm like, I can't,
Wow.
you know, but you removed that barrier in my mind, like, bro, what are you like? And it made me realize that, like, okay, I'm being silly, and sometimes it's hard for us to get out of our own heads, and realize like we're being silly. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'm trying to share this to your IG. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this because it's on. I'm trying to share this to your
I
IG.
do want to say, um, you know, the biggest thing, and what it made me realize when I told you that, just through the years,
Mhm.
experiencing just people just making it happen with what they have. What I realized at the end of the day is just about how you make people feel. So there's
Mm.
somebody that has some beat up truck and some weird clown suit going to a school, changing kids' lives forever. And there's some dude that can
Right.
do that times 10. He doesn't want to do it because he thinks his truck ain't good enough, his clown suit
Mm.
ain't good enough, his jokes ain't good, And
Right.
it's just, at the end of the day, it's you. How Dr. Dre said, it's all about how you twist them knobs. It doesn't matter what studio you're in.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy thing, and that's the thing that people don't really understand is like, yo, it's not about what you have, it's not about the technology, it's not about that, it's about one is and that's the thing that's really dope, is a lot of times it's about what's inside of you. It's about what makes you different, what you're bringing to the table that's not what everybody else is bringing. You can add your own unique flavor because we're all unique, by design.
Mm.
So it's just basically about embracing that, and then taking the things that make us different, and sharing those things with the world, so people can understand it. So I
Yeah, yeah.
definitely, yeah, I don't know why this thing is. I'm trying to figure out the best
You
way
ain't got to worry
to.
about. You ain't got to worry about. I mean, I'm gonna blast it once we're done anyway, so you ain't got to worry about
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, folks, let me introduce my guest. So this is Caesar's Capitals Conversations Pod, and I have with me Black filmmaker, one of the people that I look up to, somebody that inspires me, is Nakia Hamilton, one of our hometown heroes. So he's came to join me. We're going to talk about Black representation via media, especially mass
that.
media. And then I'm gonna actually, we're gonna pick his thoughts on a few things. But then we're also gonna talk about his upcoming project, Boo Boo the Fool. So that's basically what's on the slate. But Nakia, thank you for having me. I mean, well, thank you for coming, and,
No
and and
problem,
giving me
man.
some time, bro. I really appreciate
No problem. No problem at all. I appreciate the opportunity, man. And like I said before, you definitely have come up from what I've seen, and I see success in you. You know what I mean? And I've been able to speak with successful people. One of my best moments was, and the craziest thing is, the guy, he was a racist guy, but
that.
he was a millionaire. And he sat me at a
Mm,
table and he just talked to me. And I got some jewels from perspective of a privileged person that didn't think there was privilege, but it opened my mind so much. And it helped me be
mhm,
able to see success and how it lines up with people and his relationships and things. And I see like that same opportunity, like in the stuff you're doing and other things other people are doing. So when I see that, I want to commend people, that I feel like I can kind of see success in people, and I definitely see it in you.
Wow, wow. I really appreciate that. That's big praise, especially coming from you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's different when it's different when like people that you look up to see and respect what you're doing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? As opposed to, somebody that doesn't, or doesn't really fully grasp or anything
Yeah.
like that. Like it's
Yeah.
it's different. I really appreciate that, Ross. And like like I was saying before, like, what I'm saying, somebody like you and the work that you're doing created a person like me, and that's basically what
Mm-hmm.
I want to do for the next generation. Like, I really want to make it look cool, to one, be and care about your community, but also have empathy for others outside of your community, and then have empathy for, you know what I'm saying, have empathy for ourselves. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of times we're too hard on ourselves, man. And it's just like, yo, we need to, advocate for one another, be there for one another. And then not just be because, oh, I can get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I tell people all the time, like, my superpower is that I'm genuine. Uh, if I really mean everything I say. Um, and it's all good,
Got
bro. Don't
me
worry.
too
Uh,
excited, man. I started
you
clapping and
good?
I
It's
knocked.
all good. No
Like,
worries. It's all good. We're not a bougie show at all. You know what I'm saying? This is a grassroots show.
got you.
So, but yeah, it's important. That people are able to see that. So I really
Mhm.
appreciate that. But on to
No
today's topic.
problem.
Um, so I wanted to talk to you about like Black representation within media, because this is something that really concerns me. And this is something I see, and this is why I respect you so much, because you're showing authentically Black content. You're making content from you're a Black man. You're
Mhm.
making the content, you're filming it, you're shooting it, and you're disseminating it for a Black audience. You know what I'm saying? You want everybody to watch your stuff, but it's with a focus of a particular audience, right? So, so a lot of times in these, like I see a lot of times on these shows and stuff like that, it seems like it's a manufactured Black voice, right? Like it it seems like it's not authentically us being displayed out here or pushed out here. Even when we talk about these news shows and these new segments where you got people who really are not in touch with your average everyday Black person, nor do they try to
Yeah.
empathize or advocate for them at the rate or at the level that they should. So, what is the point
Mm,
of, you know what I'm saying, when we say representation,
yeah.
right? Like, what is the point in having faux representation? Does that still help us?
Well, well. One thing I had to realize, because and I'm not sure if I ever told you this. Early on, when I was filming, I had a distributor that wouldn't take my movie. He said because the Black person was on the cover. Yeah,
Mm,
I was young. I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean? I was like, well, okay, I'll go into the next thing. But it kind of messed me up. But it
mhm,
taught me a lot that people are people. You know what I mean? The
mhm,
racist dude at McDonald's, the racist dude that run the corporation, there's still one that works, you know what I mean? And people care about what they care about. So sometimes when I see certain representations, I have to give the person the benefit of the doubt at first. You get one. You know what I'm saying? Come on, I got to
mhm,
give you one. Then as
mhm,
time go on, I try to look at what they're doing, how they're doing stuff. You see research on them, and I have to accept the fact they don't care. So we
mm,
eliminated all of them. Ain't nothing we can do about it. So no reason to even stress about them. You know what I mean? Now
mm,
let's get on these people that are out here that act like they care, but it seems to be, you know
mm,
what I mean? It's like, the horse and pony show thing going on. And so I think that is where we can make change and focus on some of these things. And in film, uh, it's funny that you say that because now, I mean, if I put a Black female on the cover, they about take anything. You know what I'm saying?
right.
After George Floyd, I tell you, if I put a Black person on the cover, it don't matter what they're doing. And it's just so crazy how I have to accept the fact it is the business, but what is my responsibility as an individual? So when I
Mm,
did, for example, Boo Boo the Fool, um, I said I'm gonna focus on how it makes people feel, and I'm gonna let them do them. So, on a side note, whenever you see the movie, it's gonna be like a movie of reels, like
mhm,
Instagram reels almost. You know what I'm saying? And basically, the
okay.
reason why I was like that because I was like, I'm gonna let them just do their thing. You know what I mean? And whatever that is, that's that. But I've seen on sets where you just can't do that, and I think that's where the authentic. Being authentically Black and representing that and having the opportunity, that's where the opportunity there is at. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But when you don't focus on when you focus on everybody that really doesn't care, it's like you beating a dead horse. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So now that I have a bunch of people that care, I try to put that focus in. You see what I'm saying? So I try to put that
yeah.
focus right there with them. Now we're Black people that care about it. Let's do this. I'm not going to worry about this distributor and try to beat them down to prove a point. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna worry about Adidas.
Nice.
I'm going over here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my thing and make this happen.
Nice. Nice. You worried about you go where you're valued and where where people care, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of the process I would that's kind of the advice that I would give to anybody like an entrepreneur, a business owner, or anything like that is one, you can't focus on where you're not being supported. You have to focus on who's supporting you, and then you have to go about and reward those people who are supporting you with content
Mm-hmm.
geared towards them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the idea. That's the goal. It's just the I feel like one thing that I've been trying to harp on to people is that media matters, especially my community. So like our representation in media really truly matters. So like a lot of times our people, on we're so lax on how we're positioned or how we're portrayed out here within the media that we don't take offense and stuff like that. So like mind you, when the Kanye backlash hit and everything like that was happening, I was telling people like, yo, you can't get upset about how people handle disrespect just because we allow disrespect. You know what I'm saying? On that note, and that's just because Kanye was wrong about some of the stuff he was saying. But my thing is, black people in general, we need to start demanding respect when it comes to these apparatuses within media, especially when it comes to like political stuff. These political shows, they purposefully split our race up between black men and black women. They talk about it separately, but we're the only group in the country that they do that to. Yet our people allow that to happen, and we eat that up and allow them to divide us with like that. And that needs to stop. We need to start calling that out and calling it anti-black. Why?
Mm.
Because every single time when we're voting and stuff like that, like Stacey Abrams, for example, right? The biggest thing we heard all throughout her campaign leading up was about Killer Mike. Killer Mike, Killer Mike, Killer Mike, these black men, Killer Mike, Killer Mike. It's like, bro, like Killer Mike and his contention of people, they're only but so big. But they were using Killer Mike, much like they use Kyrie, much like they use Kanye, as an example or as a proxy for all black people, black men in general. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start calling that out because they always try to insult our intellect. That's always the first thing that they go with. And even with states, they're falling for the disinformation. They're all voting Republican. Them poll numbers came out. 80+% black men voted for Stacey Abrams. 80+%. The other closest demographic was 30 points behind. 30 points behind. So do black men get an apology for that? No, they just move on to the next one, and then they're still focusing on Killer Mike. They're still trying to blame black men for not coming out and not showing up and everything like that. But it's like, yo, at some point, black people have to say to the Democrats, like, yo, you guys frame us or you talk to us as if we are stupid. Like, think about these campaigns. Everybody always jigging. When it's talking about black stuff, we dancing and stuff. Like, that is disrespectful because politics isn't a game. Politics is you know what I'm saying? It's not a game. So why, when it comes to this, we try to fun it up or we try to act like it's not that serious. It's just a popularity contest. And no, it's really like a contest to get resources, to amass resources. And we need them. We need them. So it's just like, how do we push these media apparatuses to respect us and to stop framing us as like knuckle jaggers? Like nobody was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we do that?
Well, when I look at situations, even in filming, I like to look at the bare bones of it. And I feel like if we can do that, then we can move forward. I mean, I do with my kids with chores. Let's get all the trash first. I don't care what. Let's get all the trash, then worry about everything else. And I feel like that with kind of like this situation with politics, I feel like we need to get the trash and stuff. And to me, the trash is not enough people really care because we don't know. Like we really don't have the correct information. And that's so dangerous because only thing media is somebody controlling the narrative. That's all it is. It ain't flyers, it ain't promotion, it ain't TV. It's somebody controlling the way a group of people think. But if you don't get information, they can tell you anything. You know what I mean? And so I think that's really where it starts. But we're, as Black people, we're in a cycle that's so far behind. Because if in a certain area, for example, like so far as politics, we're behind, but something that could be clearly spoken of, like redlining. You know what I mean? Like something like that. So say that is the media and controlling your media, say it was redlining. So now they're getting houses, they're experiencing the media, how it works, how the tricks and things that work. We have no idea of this.
Facts.
We're 50 years behind trying to get in this game. They got not 50 years experience, they got 800 people with 50 years of experience each. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think it's more, that's why we really got to focus on getting information, the correct information. And once you have that and you can really know what's going on, I think then you can care. It's hard to care when you don't know. You know what I mean? Right. So, I mean, I know we want to do whatever to Kanye. And side note, it just blows my mind that we gave that much attention to Kanye and not to Brett. You know what I mean? It just completely blows my mind. Like, you know, like that impacted us, I think, way more than what he did. Because, of course, he's not the first one. You know what I mean? But anyway,
it was vile. No, you're right, because what he did was vile, and these people are on, like, and that's exactly what I mean as far as like how media is portrayed and everything like that. ESPN want to go up here and run all these stories and these exposés on Kyrie over a screenshot, but mind you, Brett Favre literally stole millions from the poorest people, the poorest Black people in this country, and nobody is talking about taking his bust out of Canton, which is exactly what they should be talking about. They should be dragging his ass up to the front and making him apologize and recoup some of that money for those same people that he took it from. Instead, they're doing little articles here, little articles there come out, and everything like that. No, they need to lambaste this man. It needs to be around the clock. They're not outside his home. They're not outside bringing the cameras like they did with T.O. when he was doing push-ups in the, like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off right there.
You're good. Go ahead.
Imagine if T.O. would have done that. Like, come on. Imagine
nasty. It would have been disgusting. And you know, we talk about, it's just I think the thing that's so nasty to me is the overt double standards that they take when it comes to Black men and Black people in general. It is disgusting because we look at first of all, the Nets owner, Joe Tsai. We look at him give Kyrie those 6 tasks. Meanwhile, this guy is literally complicit in culture and religious genocide. So it's like, how the hell you gonna tell or talk to anybody about morals or anything like that when you over here participating in this? Also, ESPN, they not going to his bumper or his office every single day and asking him why he spent money and was complicit in that. Why? Because the money for China, the money, they don't want to rock the boat. So stop with this faux outrage as if they care or something like that about anti-Semitism. When, if you cared about anti-Semitism, you would go after the streaming or the media platform that is actually housing and profiting off of anti-Semitism content. But it's not. It's really just an opportunity to lash at a Black man they wouldn't never, lash at an untouchable Black man that's not touchable. They want to make him touchable again. They want to. They hate how they hate when a Black man or Black people, Black women in general, they hate when you're not docile. Or you don't come with the whole, oh, thank you mentality.
Yeah,
it's like, nah.
Bro, you got me started. Go ahead.
Nah, because this is what we came to do. This is what we came to talk about. So go ahead,
man. And I think it's very important as a Black man, you know, and just a black person in general, to understand everything you said in media. Because one thing I learned, when you're understanding, you can move in a way of winning. Like, you can't win if you don't know. You know what I mean? And they could do anything to you if you don't know. And so it's important to, like, know that information that, you know, Chris Paul is put up on this thing, even though he hasn't won, but he has that image. He seems super safe, you know what I mean? Like, and he's a great player. And I ain't taking nothing against him. It's not in that manner at all. But when you look at his image and opportunity he has, then some other people and the opportunity, And just because of the image and what they're saying and what they're doing, it's a totally different approach the way these corporations and things approach these people. And I think for me, I would say for me, it's not to go up there and fist fight with them. I think for me, it's to build my own.
Thank you.
And for some people, it is a fist fight. It's for them to go. That's just not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like what you're doing right now with your media and making sure we support and help you build your media. Any information I know, for me not to be no scumbag. And if somebody asks me about media, instead of starting my own, help a brother I know that's already doing it. Right, like you know how many phone calls I get from people that never made movies, never filmed weddings, and the opportunity came. All of a sudden, they want me to tell them information how to make one. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So where is your heart really at? Is it really for the people? It's really for the people. We need to know information. We need to know, understand the knowledge, and to be able to decipher what's going on. Charlemagne said something that was very huge to me that hurt, that was so true. He said the reason why some of us are talking about Kyrie instead of Brett Favre, because we are talking about Kyrie instead of Brett Favre. You know what I mean? Like I did a few podcasts. This is the only one where we really even bring up that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very important just to get information from the right people, not just Fox, to do your research, but for people like me and you to show people how to do this.
Right. Hey,
you know
and this is I'm glad that you got on that, because that's kind of what I wanted to bring up. It's like, yo, we have to bring back the social responsibility. Back in our grandparents' days and the great grandparents' days, it was about the collective. It wasn't about just person. It wasn't just about self. Like you could go over somebody else's house and get watched over and eat their food and all they stuff like that. It was more of a village, and we've broken that down and we've traded that in for materialism. You know what I'm saying? And for clout, like for stuff that does not matter and does not help the next generation. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we have to come together about building our own apparatus so that we can get respect from these people. Because like even when we talk about black exploitation movies, you know what I'm saying? Like it came out in the 70s and where are those at? You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing it, but like there's not, we have to focus on pushing those stuff, like pushing your stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we have to focus on pushing these and respecting our own, because a lot of times, like, because it's us, we'll devalue it. We'll say that it's not there yet. But once it has a corporate stamp or it's stamped by white society, then we have all of a sudden we value it. And that's a mindset problem. That's not the white man fault, nothing like that. And it's an internal thought process that we have to work on ourselves. Like we really have to focus on building and valuing our own stuff. So that way, like when people come to us with BS, that's like, all right, man, cool. Like go ahead and you do that over here. We still over here where it's real at. And we, you know what I'm saying? We're respecting that. And you know, that's basically where I'm at with it. And that's what I'm trying to do. Because it seems like when we look at these media, when we look at these news stories and things like that, it seems like nobody is really caring about what's going on as far as like for example, these bills and stuff like that. When we talk about black people voting and everything like that, what are respectfully, what are black people getting specifically out to voting? And I don't say that to say don't vote. I say that to say we have to start getting resources out to our vote, because these other groups are getting resources. For example, out in LA, now you do not have to be a citizen in order to get a county job.
Wow.
You do not have to be a citizen in order to get a county job. Now, listen, cool, I'm all for immigration the right way. That's awesome, bro. That's cool, right? But these are jobs that are going to people who are not citizens of this country before they're going to black people, bro. And I'm like, I don't say that to be xenophobic or anything like that, but it's just a problem. It's like, okay, if somebody who is not from this country is getting more than somebody who is literally from this country, are we not in peril? Like,
I'm
are
sorry.
we, you good? Like, are we not in peril? Are black people not in peril? Like, if we
And
can't get nothing, if we can't get these people to focus on these, and remember it was just Chicago, right? And now it's all these other hot spots. Memphis, we got down in Florida is going up. All these places are going up. This is generations of communities being deprived of resources. These is kids living in squalor is going up in crime derived from poverty. Our politicians, we have not asked them or made them give anything to better that. So how are we going to make a change?
So do you really believe across the country, the people that are running, if we had all the actual best politicians out of the one we got in office, how good you think we'll be? Out of the group that we see, the information we know, we got the best out of this breed. What do you think?
Of black politicians right now? Or are we talking about
I mean, just
politicians
in
in general?
general, just who we think, because there's a few that are not black. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
For
saying?
black
Like,
people? I mean,
yeah, for
what black
black
people?
people. I'm sorry, yeah, for black people.
Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing.
That's my point. That's my point. When we think like that, it's like you're in a room almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're black, but then you got to vote somebody. But when you go outside that room, there's nobody. You realize there's nobody you feel worth voting for.
Nobody.
So I think it's even more important for me, to, like when I film, to bring like younger people in. When you do media, to bring them in, to have these conversations, to breed that next person. Because if you feel that way, then there's got to be a lot of other people that believe we're never going to see that in our in our time the way we want to see it. So it's up for us to just pour into. And I think it goes back to what you're saying, just about educating, learning, properly educating. And I think when we consistently do this, it brings value. And the hard part about it for me is, and I do this with everything, when I realize I have to learn something, it's about eliminating certain things. And there's so much of just like our black lives and true black history that we don't have, that sometimes I feel like, we don't need to know anything else about anybody else stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just so much of us that's been lied, and I think that's where we really need to focus at, to get our mind in a place that can compete out with the politics and all the things like that.
But see, and goes back to my point about black people in media, and kind of goes back to Kyrie. It's absolutely a fact that we don't know ourselves, and we are trying to discover ourselves and the history beyond being slaves, right? We got studies like CRT that are for that, to combat that, not just to inform us of our outside struggle, but for other people as well, about the atrocities that we've been through and how this country was formed. We literally have people who are fighting and campaigning against that. And I say that to say, that is more, that I'm not going to say that's more, that is just like Holocaust denial, guys. That's just like, it's just like Holocaust denial. And all these same people who they were so outraged by a screenshot that Kyrie said, they just chalked that up to politics. They chalk that up to politics, and they willfully ignore all of the racist elements that make up that argument, and they just chalk it up to politics, and they put it in the back of their mind. It is literally Holocaust denial. It is literally on the same level, and that's happening right now in front of our faces, in front of everybody's faces, and people are accepting it. They're accepting, this person, okay, it's cool that they're saying that CRT, that, you know what I'm saying? It's cool that they're balking against that. They're balking against that. Bro, that is anti-blackness at its fullest and most foul. Is like, they are stopping us from educating ourselves about ourselves and teaching our kids to value themselves, or teaching our kids that it was not our fault that some of the situations that our people are in right now. It holds people accountable.
But when you don't control the narrative, then the people around you are not educated. It becomes, because when you really look at it, that should be a simple problem to solve. But it is extremely hard to solve, because it's kind of like the redlining thing. You're years behind. You know what I mean? In the whole thing. So, and then you have somebody that's probably, and to get on politics, I'm not super educated. I don't claim myself to be one of those people. Right. But you have somebody that's probably making millions of dollars in the public eye, the media, then they face, and truly probably don't know half as much as I do. You know what I mean? Right. And it's out there, and they have the same opportunity. They voice have the same opportunity as a guru. This is completely insane. And these are the people that are influencing our youth. And for me, it just goes back to the same thing. Like, we really have to almost breed, you know, our mindset for our youth ourselves. You know, like it's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. It's and that's why I say, and that's what I've been trying to get people to realize, like, bro, we in trouble. We are in peril. It's not something we can't get out of, but we're in trouble. I tell people all the time, like, bro, we're discriminated against in every single institution in this country: banking, education, farming, housing,
film industry,
film, corporately,
music industry,
medical, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're discriminated in people. We have been taught to just shut up, and this is just the way it is. And it's like, no, you see how these people acted up over a screenshot. We have way more pertinent things to act up over, and we need to stop giving people grace. Like, because we can't get no grace. Nah, we can't get no grace. Y'all not getting no grace. Y'all not getting no benefits of the doubt. None of that stuff, because the proof is in the pudding. Nobody really cares about these impoverished Black areas. Like for example, I posted a statistic up the other day. 40% of people who are homeless work 40 hours a week. 40 people. So when Obama or all these people, they drag around these jobs numbers. We got jobs numbers. Bro, jobs numbers, it's not about the job. It's about a career. It's about a livable wage. It's about being able to save. It's about being able to afford rent. You see these rent prices go up every single year. It's getting crazy. So how can somebody making $7.25 an hour, because for some reason we accept that they have not raised the federal minimum wage? It's madness. We accept that. What are these people supposed to do? These people who are working at Walmart or working these different jobs. Walmart pays, I think, 15 or 12 or something like that. But still, like, you know what I'm saying? What are we supposed to do to these people who are not making that much? And these small rural towns, like, what are we supposed to do about these Black people? Because it's not all of us. I'm not trying to say all Black people are destitute or none of that. I'm not saying that. But too many of us are. There's a Black homelessness problem going on right now in this country.
Yeah,
there literally is. So it's just like,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm serious.
That homeless thing is just serious, bro. It's like serious. I've seen some homeless people dressed better than me, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? You know what I mean? You kind of find out they're walking straight to the corner, and you know, like, I could go on a lot of things, and it's so much when you get into like the housing and education and being a single parent or raising a kid and trying to find the right school and trying to find a teacher that's going to treat him fair, a school system that's designed for him to win, regardless if he's 5 feet tall, 3 feet tall, Black, white. It's so exhausting, man. And I believe it was designed to be like that.
It was.
You know, and because the wealthy don't necessarily have these issues. And I mean, you might not like when I say this, but I'm not all against capitalism. You know what I mean? I'm against.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I'm against people being bad people. You know what I'm saying? Not paying people fairly, such and such. But I think when you have people that can take advantage of capitalism, they don't have those issues. You know what I mean? And they know, and they benefit off us having issues. And it goes back to the beginning. Like, are we trying to get somebody to care that doesn't care? You know what I'm saying? So if we are, then I think that fight needs to be over there. Now, what can we do? We need to educate these kids. We need to build systems for these kids. We need to stop letting them build systems and build TV shows. Got our young Black girls thinking they're nobody unless they date some white teenage guy. You know, I mean, they got. I wish I could find that Disney clip. The Black girl is literally drooling off her mouth in slow motion when the guy walks in the room.
Yep.
And I'm looking on the show. They one black guy on the show. And don't get me wrong, bro. I got a lot of black friends, white friends, all that. I ain't against none of that. But I am against what we're talking about, people controlling the narrative. You trying to tell me every show the male has to be a white hero? Every show?
Every single one.
The black dude you do bring in there, he's a clown. And when he does fall in love with somebody, it's the corniest girl on the show.
Facts.
It's like, so now my daughter and them thinking the cool guy is these guys.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no other thing. Man, a perfect example, I remember I was like 20, 22, and this guy was upset. And he's like, man, my daughter keep dating these bum dudes. And I looked at the school and stuff she went to, that was her only option. Mm-hmm. And that is the way to conquer people's mind. So we control the media and just give them this and no other option.
Mm-hmm. That's what you are. That's what you adapt to. And that's why I be trying to tell people that that's what like we need to fight against. One, some people don't even realize it's happening. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening to them. They don't even realize it's happening to them. And it's like, yo, I'm not against any certain kind of content being made. I want all kind of content to be made. But we have to realize when we're not being put or we're not being put in the best light, or we're being put in a negative light for a certain type of reason. You know what I'm saying? Like even Stranger Things, right? Where they had a little buddy, they had a black boy just get beat up and get dog walked by a white buddy. The whole season, get bullied, all that, the whole entire season. And it's just like, bro, that's just not like
that's not reality.
That's not reality. That's not happening. That's not reality. Even at a younger age, even at a 14, a 16-year-old white kid ain't whooping me, bro. Not dog walking me or any of that. Like at no point. At no point.
Man, I don't know one person, bro. Even some people that I know that can't fight, bro. Their mama or daddy would have been out that joke. Like if something would have happened. You know what I mean?
Like nobody's just letting that. Nah, doggy. You're gonna have to pay for that. Some gonna come about that. But they just make us look docile, and like even when we like these media movies, these civil rights movies and stuff like that, they always talk about King and everything like that, but they don't be talking about Stokely Carmichael, or they don't be talking about when black people was out there putting in work on the top of roofs and stuff like that, sniping people. Like because they weren't being treated right. They don't talk about John Horse. They don't talk about the Seminoles or why Dade County is named Dade County, and Dade County is named Dade County because a U.S. soldier or general, he was charged with getting all the Seminoles who were runaway slaves. They were living in the swamps of Florida. He was charged to bring them back to their slave owners. John Horse and them boys was in there taxing that ass, cut his head off. They named the county after him. John Horse was so official, the U.S. military came down and did a meeting with him. And then the guys, it is like it was going to be a peaceful meeting and this and another. They captured him. They imprisoned him. This John Horse was so thorough, he lost weight so he could slip through the bars and he escaped. They don't talk about black men like that. Why? Because they want us to be like, they want you to either be like, oh, I'm gonna be this in this crash out game. I'm gonna be in a system where I crash out, or I gotta be a ass kiss. I gotta eat ass in order to succeed or to have some type of self-respect for myself. Nah, bro. There were men out here who did not bend to any of that. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They are purposely making sure that those men are wiped away from the Rolodex of our memories. And I'm saying that we, as black men, we got to bring those jokers back because they were riders. They were men that were really like stood on business. And that's what we have to do now when it comes to principles. Like we have to have principles about certain things. Like, so the whole
standards, man.
You know what I'm saying? Standards. Yeah, bro, things like, that we won't bend to.
Just won't do. And I had to do, I'm sorry, me cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
Film. There were just certain standards, man. Like I was so much in the beginning about all this diversity stuff. Like you got to be diverse. You got to have 3 black people, 3 white people, such and such. And I kept getting so much slack from distributors because they couldn't do nothing with it. And I'm trying to figure out, well, I wanted to be multicultural and such and such. But I realized that at the same time I was doing that and that was right. And everybody was like, yeah, multicultural. I realized, but if you check these people, Netflix, history. They weren't no multi. They weren't watching no black movie. They weren't watching. You know what I'm saying? And so as the process went on, I kept doing it. Then I realized it's a good thing, but I'm not sure it's the right thing because I felt like I got in an argument. I had a movie called Black Church, White Church. It never came out, filmed and everything, and it got in kind of an argument about the whole thing. But it was like, why should there be a black film festival? You know what I mean? Well, there should be a white film festival. Well, the thing is, you got a white film festival. It's called the Such and Such Film Festival, the Sundance Film Festival, yada, yada, yada. You know, and they was like, well, no. But then I was like, yeah, you're correct. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, no. The reason why there needs to be a black film festival, because there are certain black people that are not going to get treated fair. You know, the one doing the shooting and shouting, yeah, you're going to grab them, they're going to make you money. But if other people showing true, authentic content that can help black people, you're not going to treat fair. And I had to make a tough decision that it's going to be a female black lead pretty much to the day I die right now. You know what I mean? It's going to be black men in the movie, and all the black men ain't going to be bums and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just going to have to be like that, and that's a sacrifice I'm going to make. And in everybody's media, we have to make that choice. It's just the bottom line. If you want to make a change, if you don't, then, you know, it is what it is.
Facts. And I think that's basically what, like, you know what I'm saying, what we're getting around to. Like, you have to purposely make these steps in order to make change. Like, we can't just talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to purposely, like, and that's why I do these events, trying to circulate, like, commerce within our community. Because our dollar exits our community, like, quick. It don't even make one trip around our community, guys. Like, that's
crazy.
Like, back in the
supposed to make.
Go ahead.
I think it's supposed to make 6 to add value or something like that. I think it doesn't go around once. It's supposed to go around 6 times.
Back in the 60s, they said something like 20 to 40 times or something like that. That's our money was circulating in our neighborhood. Like, and then this is in our community, but this is what's crazy, and this is what black people fail to realize when we talk about like mentality and stuff like that. You know, there were black owned. There were black owned bus companies, right? Like, so when
I know.
yeah, they were black owned bus companies that's how black people got to and from these black owned bus companies. Black people wanted to ingratiate themselves into white society and assimilate into white society. In doing that, guess what happened to those black bus companies? They went under. Them black taxi companies, they went under. And then, you know what I'm saying? We rally in and we fighting to get treated right when you were getting treated right in your own stuff, but you just didn't value it as much because it ain't had that white glitz and glamour.
Yes. And you know what, funny thing, it did have it, but it was robbed from them. And this is what frustrates with people. Always, we got to give them a chance. We got to give them a chance. You know what I mean? Even when I'm working with kids, I got to remember they're a child. So I got to give them a chance of being a child. You know what I mean? When I'm dealing with them, you know. And I just think in general, we don't give ourselves a chance, man.
No,
like, bro. I mean, if there's one thing, if the person 2 seconds late bringing your food, you complaining. But the white people do whatever they want, as long as they don't call you the N-word.
That's it.
It's crazy, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You can sit they'll sit and they'll wait without bringing you your water for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But like if it happens and it's 10 minutes at a black restaurant, then you know what I'm saying, people ready to say this is why I don't do this, that, and the other. And it's like, bro, nah, man. We got to start giving ourselves grace, and we got to start putting so much of this other stuff up on a pedestal. Like, for example, the NBA, the NFL, all that stuff. The only reason that stuff it has the prestige that it does is because of us. So stop, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, when you jokers gonna realize that, or when you gonna stand on business, they don't, and that's why I don't even get mad about that NFL stuff no more. Like, treat them how, like, it is what it is, because they don't stand on business. You 80%, 70, let's be generous. You're 70+% of a population. But y'all, like, when that cap situation happened, they ain't driving nuts. They ain't come out and they ain't ride with it. They didn't make changes. They let them owners talk to them crazy. Talking about it's bigger than the game. They wouldn't even take a knee. They made a knee controversy. Them boys folded like lawn chairs. Wow. Now 7 years later, they're complaining about the lack of diversity in coaching. Shut up. Like, Like
And,
what? Like
and,
who are you?
nah,
Like,
nah. I have a complete respect for frontliners, man, and
yeah,
I have a level of respect for the back end, but it's nothing like for the frontliners. And I feel
yeah.
like when I hear what you were saying, when it really counted, you weren't man enough to do it. But when it
Was
was
it?
okay to say it, now we want to come say something.
Now you
And
want to knee?
yeah. When they did, all right, it's too late. If you didn't do it, my man, cabinet, it's just too late to me. Like
It's too
you're not
late.
getting that from me. And I think it actually looks silly almost
Hmm.
afterwards. You know what I mean?
It looks
So I mean,
nasty. But think about this. This is a great
I am.
example. Think about those are supposed to be our biggest, our strongest, our best. Those are our most manliest men, and they got hoed out for the world to see.
Mm, mm,
They can say whatever they want to about I did it for my family, the checks, whatever. Okay. At the end of the day, them
man,
billionaire owners, they were up there laughing. That's right. You gonna fall in line. You sure will. And all that stuff now is an
yeah.
instant memory. It's a distant memory. Hilarious.
Mm,
I love it because it's like with stuff like that, with history, we can always bring up the facts. The Malcolm Jenkins, the guy who, oh, they gonna
yeah.
come in and they gonna actually, we passed that. We passed kneeling. Like we done all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You look at, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden he's trying to be in an ownership group. All of a sudden you hear that he might be in an ownership group. It's just like, hey man, it's filthy out here. Like
Do
it's
you,
filthy out here. There's
do you
nobody really advocating for us.
do you think and when people advocating for us, this just crosses my mind. I feel like
Mhm.
it almost doesn't make sense because there's more media, there's more opportunity to make change, and there's more people trying to make change. But I feel like when there was, well, from our research, from less people back then, like with more information, more media, what it seemed like we would know more. It seemed like we were smarter then than we are now. And that's the part that confuses me. And I don't like to get involved with certain things because it's like, what is going on?
It's
I feel like it
meaningful.
hasn't evolved.
It's because again, it's not cool. People don't like we not and this is all by design. Like our education systems are trash. Like you know what I'm saying? Our education systems are telling like majority in black cities and stuff like that. They're taught to conform. You're not really taught to express your own personal thoughts or to really like grow or develop something unique about yourself or even to try to discover that, you know what I'm saying, or to even pay homage to the history, to your aunts. They talk about black history. It's so nasty now how they do black history as opposed to 10 years ago how they did it. How we was like, it was more encompassing. We was learning about a different person within black history every single day, and it was like we were
It was
gaining
important. They
knowledge.
made it
It
important then.
Now they dumb it down to where it's not important. It's just something. It's like it's something for corporate entities, or Nike can do their new Black History Month colorway and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not important. It's not important. It's not important for us. For exact, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not important. Like, okay, our ancestors, they did, and this is why I hate when people be like, your ancestors voted, they died for right to vote and all this stuff, and they invoke the ancestors. But it's like, bro, our ancestors weren't cowards. When black people weren't getting treated right, they were in the streets. Black people are not getting treated right, and you guys are not in the streets. Like, period. The years that y'all were in the streets, y'all accepted them not doing anything after being in the streets. Like, this is where we are. And this is what we
Mm-hmm.
are. This is what it is right now. We can change it. It's not saying that we have to be out in the streets or anything like that, but like, bro, our actions have to move and our actions have to back up where we are as a people and how we're being treated in this country as a people. And as a people, we are being benign. We are getting practiced. Benign neglect policy is being practiced on us. Period. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have women, right, or black women right now who are dealing with not miscarriage issues, but with pregnancy issues, where we died alarming rates. And it's not because black women are different. It's because they're being mistreated and they're not being taken seriously in these hospitals. That's racism. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody want to talk about anti-Semitism. Bro, that's anti-blackness at its most purest and most vilest point. Like a pregnant woman can't even get empathy or consideration. That's where we are as a country. But when you talk about it deep like that, everybody want to put their head in the sand. Nobody want to talk about how vile it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where we are. Like, you know what I'm saying? With the people in the country, the real estate, where they took their pictures down.
Scares me, man.
It's sad. It is. Like, you know, the real estate, they took their picture down and all of a sudden their house was appraised for 150,000 more. That's literally wealth. That was
I've seen that. I see that happen like 2 or 3 people.
4. Like my parents used to do it. My parents used to take all our pictures down.
Oh, wow.
But 2022, this is where we at though, still. You know what I'm saying? Still.
Yeah, that's sad. Man.
There's no protections for us. You know what I'm saying? There's no protections for us. And black people, we so proud and we so taught to not complain or anything like that. But it's like, no, bro, we need protections in place for us, specifically for us, because specifically we were targeted by the government and stifled and held back up all the way up until the 80s when they was doing COINTELPRO. Like, it's not even like it was 100 years ago how they be trying to act like, bro. Like, we were stifled up until the 80s. Like,
that part,
you know what I'm saying?
That part
it's nasty. They try, like, it was 400 years ago. No, bro. Like, y'all continuously was been messing with us since our inception into this land. But it's not, we don't like to carry ourselves as victims or anything like that. We're not victims, we're owed. Period.
Basically.
Period. Yeah, and that's how we need to carry it. Like, bro, you guys aren't doing us any favors. Like, this is the richest, most prosperous land in this country and in this world, and it's because of us. Literally. But what do we get from it? You know what I'm saying? But we don't get no respect. Nothing like that. And that's what I mean when like within media, just period. We just need to demand respect. Because it's like we don't get it, like in these different, like exactly what you were talking about, like black man can't be the hero, or it's got to be, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be a specific content about the black man being the hero, like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
make sure we don't motivate no black people to go save the world, you know?
Exactly, like the Captain America, America joint. Like it was like it's like, all right, bro, like, all right, but we can't naturally just be heroes, or we can't naturally be, you know, masculine and dominate and be smart. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to show us like that. And we can't ignore the fact that they don't want to show us like that. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the gist of what I was saying, because it's pivotal. Like, it's important for us to realize the peril that we're in, you know what I'm saying, as a community, because we got violence with these youngins, you know, it's nonsense. Crashing out. Nonsense, man.
That whole killing thing with the young people is just insane. And I always think about, man, well, what could I do? What could I do? And I keep always bouncing back in every situation to the same thing: owning something, then educating people. And when I put those two together, it creates a system that I think you can funnel people through. So, like, that's one of the things I want to do with Love Life Entertainment, where you get out of jail, you can't get a job. You can come there and make good money. Just not make good money. We got free classes every Friday. Where Friday it's on finances. Tuesday it's reading. If you got need help reading, bro, we got somebody privately nobody won't even know. You know what I mean? I'm finding out that just so many people, adults and stuff, reading skills and things that they can't. It's hard to execute well. So when it comes to politics, it comes to certain words, it comes to certain structures and systems they can't comprehend, because their day to day is not in a system that kind of helps their mind. I never forget, I used to coach youth basketball at H Street Center. I had 3 people, well, 2 was on my team, 1 was on another team. 1 was the oldest, 2 were seniors, and 1 was like in 11th grade. And one of them quit in the middle of the season, probably 3 weeks later, shot and died. I mean, like, darn. Then I was like, man, yo, this basketball, I said, this school is saving some of them. It's the only organized structure they have, you know?
Right.
So the craziest thing, season was over with. They went back to what they was doing. One of them the other senior got shot. 6 months later, the other one, the 11th grader, got shot and died. And it was just like not being in a system that I feel, and this is just my opinion, I don't know what was going on at the house, but this is, I feel like creating these systems, man, to where like people could just come in and you can kind of grow. Because trying to explain this to a child and getting them there, it's like it's hard to make that cool and still be, I mean, completely truthful about it, you know? So
Thanks.
creating these systems, like it just can't be basketball. Like we have to see these kids grow through these things. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
We have to see them want to be less violent, more grateful, more humble. Like those things first before, you know, they learn 8 bars. They're gonna learn how to rap 8 bars, 16 bars, no matter what they do. You know what I mean? So we ain't worried about that. But these things that makes them good people in every situation to make good choices, you know. I'm just 1,000. When I even told my business partner, I was like, man, if I die, my family, everybody good and happy, taken care of. As long as Love Life Entertainment is a system that somebody can come in and just go through their life and grow and take care of their family, educate their kids, find something out about finances and teach their kids, parenting classes, like have a business that actually just don't make people money, but give them an opportunity to grow about life. Then I think violence can slow down. Things like that nature can slow down. Even and this is the last thing I'll let you speak. There even was one scripture that said, "Oh my God, something about violence and shedding blood." Man, I probably should look it up before I spoke to you, but basically, the innocent blood of a virgin and violence basically had a connection. You know what I mean? By abortion, mistreating women, all them things like that had a connection with violence in the street, spiritually. You know,
Yeah.
and so on that level, I think all of that stuff is important, and it's about really focusing and addressing it in your area. And I think, well, once we do that, we can, our youth can be in the media, tell the truth. Once we can do that, our media can be men that appreciate women, or our media can be the media that shows those men that appreciate women. Stop showing the ones that only, you know what I mean, only show us Jay-Z and Beyonce when they talk about he cheated on it. You know what I mean? Like avoid that stuff. I think when we start pouring into these younger people and and you start to grow more humble and grateful, I think it's just like it's an organic thing to tell the truth, be more caring about the media, and having sympathy and empathy for other people.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's why like I'm so adamant about resources because of that very instance that you were talking about, whereas those kids were out of your system, out of your program, and then they, you know what I'm saying, they got caught up and you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
I feel like we would be doing a lot better in our communities if we had a place or system like you were talking about set up in every major city, black city or anything like that, every major city where that safe haven was always there. And that's what
Mm.
I mean when I say about resources for black people. That shit should be federally funded because of all of the harm that's been done. Those safe haven institutions where that should be federally funded, bro. Like
Yeah.
seriously, period. And it's
And,
like, and
and,
that's what I,
and not to
yeah,
cut you off, but I mean federally funded, like at a high level. I don't want no
at a
cheap
high
stuff. I mean, I want
facts.
some highly educated stuff in there, the best books, the best computers, the best teachers that you can afford on that budget, fairly across the country.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying when we talk about big policies and we talk about meaningful resources. I'm not just talking, people just talking about handouts. No, nobody's talking about that. We're talking about apparatuses and systems set in place so generations and generations of black people can actually live and seek out the American dream. And I don't feel like that. I feel like that is something that could easily been done. If we can allocate $54 billion to the Ukraine, why can't we allocate $1 billion or $2 billion or $50 billion across each of these 50 states to empower black people? We
Why can't we
can.
just fix the water and
Thank
Flint?
you.
Like, why
And
can't we
that's what
just
I'm saying. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's anti-black. Like, that's really like when we talk about a screenshot and we see the reaction from a screenshot, and then we see reactions from actions that are actually impacting lives. That's why it's hard for black people to really like feel strongly in a certain way as far as like, yes, I feel like Kyrie is whatever. You can call him ignorant, you can call him eccentric, you can call him silly, whatever, but you cannot label that man a face of anti-Semitism, and you cannot label that man a face as the face of hate. We're just not gonna allow you to do that when
yeah,
you got all these
yeah.
other people doing foul stuff to black people, but y'all don't label them anti-black racists. Like Period. You know what I'm saying? We're just not gonna allow that. We're gonna stand on business on that. Like, and that's why the commissioner, you seen the commissioner came out and said, I know for a fact Kyrie's not anti-Semitic. Yeah, buddy, because we wasn't playing with you. Like, we was not playing, like, you know what I'm saying? It was about to get nasty. It was about to get nasty now, because we were about to be like, yo, okay, y'all want to do this? Why y'all didn't do this with Sarver? Why y'all didn't make him come out and publicly apologize publicly to everybody? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why you this, that? Why this, that, and the other? Why this, that, and the other? Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't move this strongly when it comes to police brutality, the anti-blackness, none of that stuff. It was none of that strong statement stuff. It was none of that. Like, even their own player, when their player got his leg broke in Milwaukee. It wasn't none of that condemnation. It was none of that. It was carefully worded language. But they player got his leg broken. Got it broken, and they didn't move like that. But Kyrie posting a screenshot and things moving and shaking, people dropping and everything like that. It's like, nah, man, can we call a spade a spade? Like, let's call it what it is.
And it's just saddens me, man, that, you know, sometimes, I mean, it's a borderline, and I know everybody got their thing they want to say, but in some senses, a public lynching, you know, like, and it's targeted. It's just not a general thing, because we haven't seen this done to everybody every time something happens. You know what I mean? And I almost wish it was like back in the days with Dennis and Rodman, when they could do whatever, and 2 or 3 people talked about it on the media, you went on about your business. But it's become so much, I think, and I hate to say it's the media fault, but if we don't talk about it, they ain't going, you know what I mean?
But it's because they've been waiting to do this. You know what I'm saying? They've been waiting to find a reason to jump on Kyrie to get him out of there, because they hate how Kyrie has been thinking, how he's been talking to him. That all that stuff plays a factor in this. That's what I'm saying. They like, oh, we can put him in his place now, because remember, even out in Boston, we was telling him to suck his. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
them racist joints out there.
So you got me thinking a little bit deeper into this too, because I always thought about this with the music industry, and I think about it with film. When they don't need you anymore, they don't need you anymore. Like, and I believe that this would be completely different if Kyrie would have won 4 or 5 chips. I'm just saying. I'm just be a completely different conversation. But because he hasn't, and he had plenty of chances to do it, it's almost like they don't need you anymore. So, you know what I mean? And, you know, one thing I learned working at this place called LP is how to fire people. And you set up a system that will allow people to fire themselves. That's what the whole 6-point system is. That's what the whole, as long as you keep your mouth quiet, you can mess up the 6-point system, we can fix it. But once you're out here causing trouble, you hit that 6, hey, we got it on paper. All right, well, we can get you up out of here. And I think the NBA, of course, these billion-dollar corporations have the same system set up. When it's time to fire somebody, the system is designed to ship them out.
Yup, get them up out of here. Shit, they got Dwight Howard over there playing in Taiwan. You know what I'm saying?
That was I laughed, then I felt sad for him, bro.
Yeah, it was like that's a top set. They first of all, they got him out the top 75 so that they wouldn't have to keep calling him to come back and do stuff. And then they made him do his final years out in Taiwan, so he don't get no farewell tour or anything like that. It was
nothing,
tough,
bro.
DeAndre Jordan's on the bench still somewhere clapping like crazy. Like, he's done nothing in this league, really. Nothing except that one alley-oop on a 6-foot guy, you know?
Yeah,
that's it.
And it's funny, like, I hear you bringing up Howard and them, and I'm thinking about black media and the power of black media. And this is off subject, but it's not. It's amazing to me how I think with different media, the Dwight Howard career would have been, it could change things. I think the media and Chris Paul's position helps him. You know what I mean? I mean, I never seen one player that can get all the way to the finish line and just can't do it. You know what I mean? But he still gets this thing. And when I dig, like, just thinking of various players and things like that in the power of the media, I think of what's the guy name? They used to date oh my goodness. Used to date the Australian female rapper. Yeah,
Oh,
what they used
oh,
to
I know
call
you're
his
talking about.
nickname?
I did Swaggy P. Swaggy P.
Yeah, how he was trash, but the power of media, man. If you didn't know better, you would thought he was a superstar. You know what I mean? But the power of media. But regardless, when the NBA don't need you anymore, the system is designed for you to be shipped out. And think about it, I guarantee he didn't think that. Because
I
I mean,
mean, yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. He probably knew. I don't know. Swaggy, one of them people. Like he had a good offensive game. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. They did have him out here like he was a top 25 player and everything like that. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, you're right. It's the power. That's why I be telling people there's so much power in the media, in propaganda and things like that. But before we get out of here, I really want you to talk about your upcoming project,
All
Boo
right.
Boo the Fool. Let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Well, Boo Boo the Fool is a comedy, and it's about a lady that has a wild dream with a boyfriend. And in the dream, she urinates in the bed, but when she wakes up, she actually peed in the bed while he's in there during the dream. So the whole night, her and people from her neighborhood is trying to clean it up without waking him up. So it's a comedy of like, so when I tell people it's like a movie made of reels, it's like every time somebody comes in, it's like a reel, but it's like a 3-minute reel of a bunch of stuff, you know what I mean, happening.
Yeah.
So to me, it's one of my funnest movies, favorite movies, and I think it's one of these ones you can watch over and over again. And I think it's just perfect timing to where we weren't trying to get real technical and personal about things. It was just about, your thing to get away. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's what this movie is.
Some fun, just a chance to relax and be silly and
Yeah,
just
get you
enjoy.
some
Really,
wine, a shot, a roll, whatever you do, you get that and watch this movie. You enjoy yourself.
okay, cool, cool. And who's it starring? Who's some of the leading actors?
Bird. It's starring Bird. It's starring Nelson J. Davis. Both of them from Entanglement.
Right.
It has Audrey. She's been in the Halloween Kickback that stars Shula King and some other people. But the list goes on. I just pretty much brought my crew. There was one new person, Deja McCowan. Great person. Actually, she'd be here tomorrow to start another film. She's flying tomorrow. But great cast, great group of people. And this is who I'm rolling with, man. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Everybody keep asking me to go get such and such. And I can go get them. And we can go get so-and-so name. But nah, man, I really want to put the port on. I really want to
Mm-hmm.
create a system. But when I'm gone, I'm in that box, man. Like people that grew up in my city, went in my high school, grade school, can go get a job here. And it's not like General Motors back in the day. You was uneducated. As long as you push the machine, we're gonna pay you $35 out. No, there are gonna be finance classes in here. You know what I mean? You could take. There are gonna be parenting classes in here at your job that you make movies and be creative at. You know what I
Right.
mean? There can be a day where you bring your kids. You're gonna have a tour where you can walk your kids through. So at a young age, they can see black men working, being bosses. You know what I'm
It's
saying? At a
dope.
young age. It's
Yeah.
going to have a tour where the whole studio takes everybody works there. We get a group of kids and we take them to colleges at a young age. You know what I mean? But I didn't see a college until they recruited me, were trying to scout me to play basketball.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
freaking crazy?
Yeah. That's
Ain't
crazy.
that
That's wild.
crazy?
That's wild.
So I want kids 7 years old, 10 years old. Man, by the time you reach high school, you done been to 4 or 5 major universities. Um, and also tell them the truth about that. But that's where I'm at. And I mean, we can get on Boo Boo the Fool. We ain't got to worry about it. I'm going to promote it. It doesn't matter. I'm
Right.
really more focused on just inspiring people and helping people out, man, and really enjoying life, man. It's different
Definitely.
when you enjoy it, you know?
Same. That's basically where I'm at too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I work hard, but I enjoy and I wake up every day fulfilled. And that's what it's about. It's about legacy building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's every day I wake up fulfilled because I'm doing everything in my purpose where I'm working with the youth, I'm working with small business owners, I'm working with community leaders, I'm working with politicians to try to make a better world, to try to make a more positive experience and make a more positive world in for my community. And that's like that's fulfilling for me. So it's like I'm really about the legacy, you know what I'm saying? And that's what's important. Like we got to really make sure that this younger generation that they're being adhered to, that their needs are being met, but also that they're being poured into, not just empty,
yes,
shallow
yeah,
stuff. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that's actually going to form, like, you know what I'm saying, morals, of principles around. You know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah.
got to bring that stuff back. We got to start making community and got to start making that stuff shepherdship cool. Like, because it does take a village. And we lost that. We can't be like Michael ever said. We losing recipes. We can't be losing. We can't be losing these recipes, man. We really need. We need to pass on this information, this knowledge, and this heart. You know what I'm saying? A lot of we got to pass on that heart. It's a lot of these. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of artificial hearts out here, pumping Kool-Aid out here. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of it's a lot of sugar in these hearts, man. And they,
you know what? Something that I got from you, I don't think I ever told you this, but something that I got from you, I always hear you mention about Big B inspiring you and stuff like that. And it crosses my mind. I was like, yo, man, this dude cares a lot because somebody else cared about him, man. And I never told you that, but whenever I hear you say something about that always crosses my mind. Like, yo, this dude cares about all this because somebody else cared about him. And it's basically what we need to do, just being in there like a studio, seeing other black men working, but caring, you know what I mean? Seeing a black man like love on his wife, seeing his wife love him. Like, the media is not going to show this stuff. And I think that's where our narrative starts in the household.
And I'll tell you specifically who, Big B's mom, Miss Lily Huggins, she took me under her wing when I first moved there, because I've been there since like 5th grade summer. But she took me under her wing and she poured into me like a third grandma. I love that woman so much. And she cared passionately about Black development, about Black people, about her community and all that stuff. And she passed that on to her son. And her son does that and walks in that every single day. And I took that from them. And I basically, I had to craft my own way and everything like that. But that's basically what I took from, you know what I'm saying? That's what I took and I got it from. And you know what I'm saying? And the thing that's always been trippy is because, and the thing that's been hard on my journey is because, like, okay, I didn't grow up in the hood or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the suburbs, right? But all of my friends, they lived, you know what I'm saying? They lived in the hood or they lived in these areas, you know what I'm saying? So in order to really I really ingratiated myself with them. I was there, you know what I'm saying? So I ingratiated myself in these areas. So a lot of times people, they have a feeling about me caring about this stuff because they'd be like, oh, why you care about this? Because you did this and the other. And it's like, bro, I care about this stuff because my friends, they didn't get the same experiences that I did. They couldn't go on the same trips that I could. I had to do a lot of this stuff alone. You know what I'm saying? And I hated the fact that they didn't get the experience of what I got to. I despised that. And I felt like it was my job, or I felt like it was on me to help change that, right? And to care, first off. Like, I wasn't gonna be no coon. And that's the thing that some people they be surprised that I'm not a coon. Like, be like, damn, like, you surprised? Like, one, my parents was never like that. So it also come from what I came from. Like, my parents, like, my mom grew up in James Island. My dad's from the Tidewater area, Hampton. My grandfather on my dad's side was part of the first Black Panther, the first Black tank Panzer fighting unit. You know what I'm saying? So he was, you know what I'm saying? On my mom's side, my Uncle Larry, who just passed away not too long ago, he's a Purple Heart recipient. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in my family has served in the military, you know, on both sides. So it's just like, that sense of pride and everything. Like, I went to New Hanover when I could have gone to Hoggart because my Black mother and father was like, no, you're going to be around some people that look like you.
Wow.
That's what I come from. So when people be seeing me like this was instilled in me. Like, you know what I'm saying? None of this is
This ain't no gimmick. It ain't because, YouTube is out now. This would be you if YouTube never existed, if Facebook never existed.
It would just be me.
In that authentic part of you, man, I have a lot of respect for. And that's part of the whole success thing that I say I see in you, man, and it's just, people pouring into people. And even from this whole thing, well, what I think I'm getting is really accountability, even though we don't feel certain people in the media is doing what they're supposed to do. I think it's really locking down our accountability we have for ourselves and other people to get there. Me on my son, my daughter, the people I film with, you know, just a level of accountability as a black human being, as a black man, black female, level of respect. And on another note, that's something I love about those that I work with. There's a high level of respect for women on set. It's like get what they want, make sure they got everything they need, then we'll just fill in where we need. And it's rare to see black men like that in that type of environment. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just a blessing, man, to be around those people. And I don't know, maybe I poured into them, but hopefully they can pour into other people. We continue to pour and build. And I think it's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. A beautiful thing.
Facts. It is, and it's already beautiful because, like, you know, I'm seeing different people work with different people and connect and everything like that. And just like when it comes to, you know, black people, as far as our social consciousness about understanding that we have to care and pour into our own self. I see that happening, and I see that. And that's beautiful. And all we have to do is just continue to cultivate that, be positive, you know what I'm saying, in things that we do. And then also, like, still, like, and this is why we tell people, like, bro, I still respect and work with everybody of all races, all creeds, and I respect everybody. But what I won't do is I won't put up with disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I respect everybody, but we don't put up with disrespect. Disrespect will not be tolerated. So I just ask this, I ask this of all black people, just like out here in this media, not just in media, but just in life, just demand respect. You know what I'm saying? Just demand respect of yourself, but just respect of your culture, respect of what you've been through, the respect of what it took to still be here. A lot of people would have folded. Bruh, do you understand what we've been through, man? And you gotta be, that's beautiful. We are beautiful people. That is beautiful. Like, and then when you hear stories about John Horst, when you hear these stories about these different black figures that they don't tell us about, you have a sense of pride, and you'd be like, damn, we some beautiful people. And that's where I'm at with it.
That's what I wanted to experience from a black college, but I didn't go to a black college. I went to Lewisburg, but that's what I wanted to experience, because me and a friend actually kind of got into it. I was like, it's all the same. No, he was saying it was all the same. And I was like, nah, it got to be different because they're all black people there. You got to get some black, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I was like, so, and you got to remember, I was young then. This was like my freshman year in college. And my baby mom at the time went to black college. Her mom, HBCU, all of them went there. And speaking to them and coming back to the guy at my school, that love for being black. Like, and once I learned about it, I was able to see it on them. And they went to a place to where this university created this narrative. You should not be ashamed of being black. You should be proud of being black. You should be such and such. And I'm not even kind of get off topic, but those environments and those systems, man, like that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Which, like, at the end of the day, and we can't be so ready to go to a white university because it's, you know what I mean, it's a white university or whatever. We have to take that pride in black universities, but I think you have to experience that, you know?
Thanks. Yeah, I was trying to go to Hampton, but they ain't had no out-of-state scholars, and I was gonna go to A&T, but them jokers had lost 2 years in a row, meaning they went winless for 2 whole years. 2 whole years. Like, I was getting, you know, I was like, I can't, I couldn't sign up for that. I couldn't sign up for that, guys. We talk about respect, right? We talk about our self-respect. I was like, yo, I could go
there's
D1.
nothing wrong with that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm joking. I was just playing around, but I was just saying, like, yo, it was horrible. You know what I'm saying? But I would go now today and everything like that. Or I would have gone if they was 5-5. If they had been 4-8 or 4-6, I would have gone. But
knowing what you know now,
I would have still probably gone, and I would have still probably built it up and made it, you know what I'm saying, made it epic. Knowing what I would have gone, knowing what I would know now, I would have gone. I would have gone. Because at what's it called, I was a number. And then I was targeted. It was just a lot of stuff that happened at that, you know what I'm saying? And kind of from the onset, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot. It's a lot. And the best players, I will say this, guys, the best players do not play. That does not happen. And these coaches be vindictive.
What?
What? What? Hey, Respectfully, like I'm not even gonna say my bro name because there's no need to say his name, but there was a running back who was like a starter his junior year, and he ran for over 1,200 yards, but he fumbled in the ball game and we lost the ball game. In his senior year, they did not play him and did not let him play at all his senior year.
The whole season.
Basically, yes. Had him like fourth on the depth chart. It gets nasty out here, man. Like it gets gross, and that's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say about that. It gets nasty, but yeah. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Nakia, for coming through, and chopping it up with me. It was a good episode. We talked a lot of gaming, with way longer than I thought we would, but it's been dope. It's been real dope, and also tell the people where they can find you at, and how they can support you.
All right, my website is www.ilovemyvideo.com. ilovemyvideo.com. You can pretty much find everything there. But of course, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Nakia T. Hamilton, Nakia T. Hamilton. I'm not hard to find. Ain't too many black, red filmmakers out there. So if you can probably pick me out real quick. But you can check out all my movies on Tubi, Freevee. They're pretty much on every platform almost, but Tubi, Freebie, I make the most money off of them, so watch them on there.
Watch him on there. Make sure you guys watch him and support him and follow him. But most importantly, support him. But this is C's. This is another episode of C's Capital Conversations. Thank you again, Nakia, for coming through.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
I'll let you guys.
Yo, just real quick. Next time, bro, trust me, it's gonna be some years later. You're going to have this huge desk, this huge office. I'm going to be coming from whatever, and we just going to laugh about, like, these right here. Trust me, the day you think.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk about it. Hey, and you always know you got a supporter for life here with me. You know what I'm saying? So, and wherever I go, you know what I'm saying? Of course, my people, they going to follow. So, let's get it. We're going to, and I appreciate you again for coming through and dropping some knowledge on me.
You too, man. I love you, bro, man. You take it easy.
Love you too. Yes, sir. Thank you.